Hello again.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, much better.
Okay. I don't know. I do know that my Wi-Fi has been going extra slow the past like 2 days. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Maybe I don't know. There's been like a lot of work happening here in Playa del Carmen, with the electricity company, and there's been like a lot of peaks. So probably that's something that's also happening, or it might be due to the eclipse or something like that.
Yeah, could be. Mercury is in retrograde. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about those things, but I was making jokes about that with a client because a wire transfer was not going through, and I was like, oh, it must be due to Mercury retrograde, and I was like, "Oh, thank you, Gigi."
Okay. Thank you. Yay. We're back now. It's like this happens to us all the time. We have to go out and go back in, but I'm glad we're back.
Yes, that's good. So let's go back to a short introduction again. This is going to be a short episode with frequently asked questions about purchasing real estate in the which is Riviera Maya, Yucatan. I mean, Merida, the Yucatan coast, and Campeche, which with Ciudad del Carmen and San Francisco de Campeche. You already know us. I am Kiyafa. I'm not Kiyafa.
I am Karina. I'm Karina. We're switching bodies today. Yes.
Exactly. It's like Freaky Friday.
Yes, we switched bodies, everybody. So I'm Karina and she's Kiafa today. So
Oh
I
my
like
God.
it.
I'm
So
sorry. And you can find me in @quarters by Kiyafa.
yes, yes, yes. You can email me at info@housebuy.com. So
Oh my God. This is crazy.
I love it. So yes, that was funny. So but I love it. I like that one. So I am Kiapa, I think, and I am originally from Alabama. I started in real estate in 2019 in Atlanta, Georgia, and I have been here in Merida for 6 months, going on 7 months, and I've been doing real estate here with Miss Karina ever since. So that's just a little bit about me.
And that's amazing. And she's amazing. And she's the most patient agent you're going to find ever. So don't
Awesome.
hesitate and contact her immediately. And I'm Karina. This time I am me. And I'm a real estate agent in the peninsula for close to 20 years. And we're here to make your dreams into a reality. Oh, that sounded like super cheap.
We are here to turn your dreams into a reality. So yes, stick with
So
us. Got you.
today we want to talk about the most frequently asked questions in the about real estate in the peninsula de Yucatan. So we were talking about in the other link that was not working properly about weather. So he was telling us about what weather is in basically in Yucatan, but especially in Merida because that's where she's located. So want to recap a little bit about that?
Yeah, so really quickly, I was just saying that the weather here is hot and it was 97 degrees today. Today is October the 12th, and it was still 97 degrees in the States. I don't know if there's anywhere in the States that's still in the 90s. I spoke to my family members today in Alabama, and they were telling me how the temperatures were already cooling down. And I know for just myself that in October, you're not going to get the 90s anymore, and possibly not even the 80s, but it varies because the weather is crazy. But it's very hot here. Back when I first arrived in like April, May, June, the temperatures got up to about 110 degrees. So just know if you're moving here to Yucatan, it's going to be very, very hot. However, I like the heat, so I was okay with it. But when you're out showing homes and that heat is just like, it's just like beating down on you, you're going to want to make sure that you have everything you need with you. So I recommend people coming here to just make sure that you get one of those fans from Amazon. It's like a handheld fan, and it also is a water spritzer. And you can thank me later because those will help save your life. I'm telling you.
Yes, it's pretty much needed. I mean, you cannot survive without an AC or or a fan because it's too hot. Also here in Playa del Carmen, it's very hot, always around 95 degrees. We don't have the four seasons. We were telling in the other link that we only have two seasons, which is hot and hotter, and sometimes it rains, and so humidity is going to be high and higher. So you're going to be sweating constantly, but you'll get used to that.
Yes, yes, absolutely. um, I think another frequently asked question, which I received today, was, "Is it safe here?" And the answer to that is yes, it is safe. Especially if you're coming to here to Merida in Yucatan, it's very, very safe. We are in a protected zone and it's safe. So it's actually, Merida was rated one of the top three safest cities in the world a few years ago. And it is still ranked amongst like the top five, I think, in western on the western side of the world. So it is very, very safe here. So you don't have to worry about anything happening to you as far as just the horror stories that you may hear. So you don't have to worry about that here. It's very safe.
And regarding about security here in the Riviera Maya, of course you hear a lot of things. There's a lot of tourism happening here. 99% of the industry here is based on tourism. So of course there's a lot of collateral situations derived from tourism and the constant fluency of people coming from here, no, from here, coming here from oh my god, from other parts of the world. So it's a pretty safe place. Of course, you're going to hear some horror stories again, but do not listen to them because I mean I've been living here for 5 years, coming here for 20 years or something like that, for like 15 years, and I've never witnessed anything that could be feeling like life threatening or anything. I've never seen a shooting or anything like that. I've never felt insecure, so you can feel completely safe coming here. Of course, if you're going to be messing in certain places, to, you're going to be putting yourself under unnecessary risk. But these situations may happen in, if I'm not wrong, most cities in the world. So you can come here to Mexico and feel completely safe.
Facts. That is true. No matter what people are telling you, or no matter what the news is trying to tell you, it is safe in these areas that we're speaking of. So you're
It
good.
is, especially Merida. Gigi's telling us that Merida is perfect. It
Yes,
is.
it is. It is, especially for families. If you have a family, Merida is great for families as well. So yeah, they do. They have a lot going on for children. They do a lot for the kids in the malls, in the parks. They have a lot of different events. They have a lot of like singers and stars. They had someone here the other day at one of the malls, and sometimes they'll have like the characters that the kids like in the malls, and I've seen like long lines of kids like waiting to actually go up on stage to take pictures with like the singers and the different characters that they watch on TV. So they have a lot for kids. So it's good for families for sure.
Yeah. And also, we were talking about that in another episode about the educational level. I mean, you can feel safe about taking your kids to school because they're going to be learning, and besides that, they're going to be learning Spanish, which is amazing. I mean, having another language is something that we all should do, especially for keeping the brain healthy, which hasn't worked a lot for me, but I'm going to recommend it anyway.
Yes.
So,
Sure.
want to go to the technical questions?
Yes. So if no one here, if you are here and you do want us to answer a question, feel free to go ahead and drop your question in the chat, and we will definitely get to your question before we log out. So okay, yes, Karina, we can do that. That's fine.
Okay, let's go. You start?
Okay, so one of the questions is, can foreigners buy real estate in Mexico? And the answer to that is yes. So we do get a lot of people, especially with me being from the U.S. asking if they can buy property as a foreigner. They're just wondering whether or not they have to get like a permanent residency before they can buy land here or any property. And the answer is no. As a foreigner, you don't have to do all of that in order to buy land here in Mexico. Um, and another question is, do I need to be a resident of Mexico to buy real estate? And the answer is no, you do not need to be a resident. It kind of goes back to the first question, to buy real estate here in Mexico. So that's one of the things that I do love about Mexico is that they provide opportunities for everybody. And, they're not going to make you go wait 2 years, 3 years, 4 years where you have to live here in order to buy it or anything like that. You can, if you know you're coming here and you have, for example, if you sold your home and you want to use that money to buy land here, you can do that with no problem. Let's see. Another question was, can I can I obtain financing to buy real estate in Mexico as a foreigner? So yes, you can. There are banks here in Mexico that offer financing to buy real estate. However, me personally, I don't recommend it because whereas in the States we're used to a good interest rate to be around 2%, 3%. Here, just know your interest rate, I think now could be up to 20%. So you're talking 10%, 12%, or more interest. So it's really not worth it for you to finance property here. It's better for you to just go ahead and purchase outright. I do see myself with a lot of Canadians and a lot of U.S. residents. They will they'll refinance their home, or they will go ahead and sell their home, or they're taking money out of the existing home that they have somehow, and then they'll bring in that money over to purchase land or to purchase homes here. So that's something that you can do. That way, you can avoid the interest rates that are around buying property here. So just keep that in mind. And let's see. So another question is, what are the restrictions? What are the restrictions for buying properties in the coastal zone of Mexico as a foreigner? So there is a law here that it does have restrictions on the ownership of land and real estate in the coastal zones of Mexico and the borders. And this is called the restricted zone. So in the restricted zone, you can purchase, but this restricted zone is going to be the equivalent of 100 kilometers. Um, and that 100 kilometers from the border, or 50 kilometers, which is from the coast. And that's the same equivalent of 50 kilometers is 31 miles, or 100 kilometers is 62 miles. So just keep that in mind, because you would be in the restricted zone if you are thinking about buying property here in our areas that we cover. And so another question we have are real estate buyers in Yucatan mostly foreigners? And that's a good question. And the answer to that is no. Most of the people here that are buying the land are actually local here. So they're going to be your Mexicans. And foreigner real estate buyers in the area mostly do come from the US and Canada. So when you do buy here, just know that it's just a combination of nationalities, with Mexicans being the number one, and then after that you have U.S. and Canada who's buying the land here for the most part. Okay. Another question that we get is, can I sign my contracts for purchasing a property in English or a different language than Spanish? So you can definitely have your contracts translated into whatever language that you do speak. However, when it comes down to actually signing the contracts, you're going to have to sign the actual Spanish copy. And we do recommend that you do have a translator. With me, what I do for my clients that are coming to rent, because the contracts have to be signed in Spanish, I found a website that will actually, you put the whole contract in the website, and then the website will translate it into English so that we can then read it and kind of go from there. We can read it together, read the translation, see if we have any questions and things like that. But they still have to sign it in Spanish. When we go to the actual closing, we have a translator there most of the time, and the translator will still go over the contract as well, line by line, if we want them to, or they'll just kind of briefly give us a summary of each section of the contract. So just know that you can feel comfortable, even though you're signing in Spanish, that everything will be translated for you so that you understand everything that's in the contract.
There's something I would like to ask to add to this question, because there are two types of contracts basically. One is the private contract, which doesn't need the intervention of notario. These contracts are not going to be like the definitive contract for the sale. It's like a promissory agreement for purchasing something. And the public contracts, these ones are going to be the ones that are going to be signed in front of a notario public. So the official contracts must be only in Spanish. So you have all the right for requesting for the draft of the contract you're going to sign, the definitive public contract, to receive the draft in your email at least 1 or 2 days before signing, because you want to be completely sure of what you're going to be signing. And if you don't understand Spanish like good enough for signing something like a legal document, especially something related to purchasing a property, which is not like 3 pesos that you're going to spend in that, just be completely sure. Hire an official translator if you don't know anyone who can help you with this information. But the private contracts can be done bilingual. So most of the time, what we do is to have the private contracts signed in both English and Spanish. So we have a column with the original version, which is in Spanish, and the one in English. So there's some, of course, a clause that has to state that in case of controversy, the Spanish version will prevail. But this is going to be helpful for you for having a reference, no? But anyway, do not trust 100% of whatever you're seeing in the translated contract, because keep in mind that one thing is translating something to English, and another thing is translating legal something from legal Spanish to legal English. It can vary completely, and we've had many clients with some questions or misinterpretations on contracts because they're translating them with Google Translator, and most of the time it's not accurate, and a lot of confusions come from that translation. So as I'm always advising, you try to use ChatGPT and just give the correct prompt for it to translate your contract, and it will give you a very accurate translation. Of course, do not trust 100% on whatever it is giving to you, but it's going to be more accurate than Google Translator. So I'm sorry, I was like being nosy in this question.
Oh no, thank you for that information. Yeah, thank you so much. This is very important to know. Let's see. Another question that we have are what documents do I need to buy real estate in Mexico? I get this question a lot because I know in the States, a lot of us do finance homes. And so you have to, give them like a year's worth of bank statements or your pay stubs for the past year or whatever. Here in Mexico, you will need your passport, an official ID, proof of address, and in some cases, a permit from the Secretary of Foreign Relations. And if you're already a resident, you will also need to present your CURP and fiscal situation certificate. So that's what you would need. It's not, and it will vary if you're getting it in your business name, it could vary. You may need your Secretary of State documents. You may need the documents from there, basically showing that your business does have a business license and it is a business in good standing. So just keep that in mind. So that could kind of vary based off of whether or not you are doing it in the business name or in your actual personal name.
And now that we're talking about this specific situation, I would like to address the current situation we're having with an actual client, where we're being requested with certain documents she doesn't have because the state is not issuing those documents. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Okay. Okay, so if you own a business in the U.S., then you already know that there are certain things that you have to have. You have to have in order to be a legit business. For example, you know that you need an EIN number. So you know that you need a tax identification number. That's needed for you to even go and open up a bank account in the States. Another thing that you're going to have to show is your Secretary of State certifications, and your articles of organization. And you also know that you're going to need your operating agreement. So these are all things that you go. So, for example, in Georgia, you already know you just go to Georgia Secretary of State website, which is, I think, georgiasos.gov, which is Georgia Secretary of State.gov. You go there, and you can go ahead and register your business and everything. The last time I checked, you pay $100 for the business license and everything, and to have a legit business. But these are all normal documents that you need: your Georgia Secretary of State, your articles, your EIN. Those are documents that could be asked for here when you are purchasing property in your business name. Um, Now, I understand that things happen, and I understand that um, for whatever reason, maybe you lost your articles of organization. Maybe you don't know where your operating agreement is, things like that. Um, but we need some sort of proof to show that your business is legit and that it's in good standing. Every single state, to my knowledge, if I'm wrong, then you can let me know. But to my knowledge, every single state has it to where you can actually go to their website, Secretary of State, and you can obtain these documents yourself if you have lost them. They are replaceable. You just go to that website. So, for example, in Georgia, it would be Georgia Secretary of State, and then you would just log in, find your business, and then you can just request those documents. You can actually, it's right there. It's free for a Georgia Secretary of State. The last time I checked, you could just go on there, put in your business, and it pops up, and you can just print those off. So if you guys ever are having issues or problems with finding your documents, I'm more than happy to help you do that, because I have experience. I know exactly how to pull them up. I know exactly where they are. So just be prepared, because, like right now, I think we're having an issue with some clients right now who are, I guess they're having some problems with locating these documents, but they are on that website. So, yes, thank you so much, Jason. Jason is basically saying your attorney should have a copy of those documents, and that's true. How do we know that your business is legit? How do we know that your business is, I guess, a legit business? We need some sort of proof. So, and we need them in a timely manner. You know what I mean? Like, um, when we ask for these documents, time is of the essence. So we really do appreciate if you can give them to us in a timely manner, because otherwise it's just not a good look. And otherwise it stresses Karinna out. And we don't want to stress Karinna out, okay? We don't want to do that. We don't want to stress the attorneys. We don't want to stress Kiafa. We don't want to stress anybody involved in the home buying process. We want to give them their documents as soon as we can. So yeah, that's just a little bit about the documents that you may need when you're purchasing in your business name. That is
Thank
all.
you. No, this process has been a thing
I'm
actually.
saying it as nicely as I can. I'm being very nice. I'm saying in the nicest way I can.
I mean, everyone has been cooperative and everything, and all, but yeah, the different names that certain documents can have from state to state make things complex, more complex than they should be. Even they get complicated. So, this is another question we're going to address later when we talk about what's better if purchasing as an individual or with an LLC or something like that too.
Yes. Okay. And I'm just going to go over one more question for now. That is a popular question, and that is, can I sell my property in Mexico as a foreigner? Yes. As a foreigner, you can sell your property here in Mexico, but they must cancel the trust or the fideicomiso. I always say that wrong.
Bit-
The
Iso.
trust fideicomiso with
Mhm.
the corresponding bank. Keep in mind that you will also need to pay taxes on the sale. So yes, so don't feel like if you're buying property here that you're actually just going to be stuck with it. If you feel like you want to move on, you can definitely go ahead and sell that property if that's something you choose to do. And Karina and I are here to help you with that.
As long as it's not too complicated, otherwise, just find someone else.
Right, and as long as you're buying dinner, yes.
Okay, we're having a question from a question that was asking if which one was more affordable, if Merida or the Riviera Maya.
If it's more
Expensive.
affordable in Merida or where?
Or in the Riviera Maya. Some this goes related with a question we receive like very frequently, like which is the budget you need to consider for a regular living in Merida, for example. Maybe you can tell us a bit about that.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure I understand the question. Ask me one more time.
Um, like people who's aiming to be an expat or to relocate is constantly asking how much money they should consider for as a budget, like a monthly budget for living in Merida.
Okay, okay, understood. So, if you're coming to Merida, it's honestly it's no set number I can give you, but I can give some advice on you in particular. So, there are a lot of people, for example, that come here from the U.S. and they want to have a maid, they want to have a chef, they have someone coming to clean their pool, like twice a week. They want to have a driver everywhere they go. They want all the bells and whistles. So if that's you, and they want to have, someone to come clean their home twice a week. I do know some people like that. Then your budget is going to have to consist around that. And also, you have to ask yourself, how much are you wanting to spend each month on your rent? Because it's very important that you remember that the US dollar to peso fluctuates as well. So if you're coming over here and you're thinking, okay, well, I can afford for my rent to be $1,500 a month, US dollars a month, and then for everything else, you're calculating, let's say another, let's just say $1,000. So you're thinking, okay, well, I think I'll be fine with 2,500. Just remember that USD to peso does fluctuate. I know some people whose rent they came here. It was great. It was like 20 to 1, and they were paying maybe $800, and then now that has gone up a couple hundred depending on how it fluctuates. So just keep that in mind. I think the most important thing you should do is give yourself some wiggle room. I have a friend who bases her budget off of the USD peso rate being 16 USD to 1 peso. That way, the fluctuation does not she doesn't it doesn't really affect her. But if you're not thinking about that, then it could be an issue. Even with me, since I've been here, I think when I moved here, it was $18.77 when I moved here, like back in April, and it has definitely dropped to like since I've been here, it's dropped up quite a bit. So just know that I did see that in my rent, and I did feel that in my budget. So what I say for you to do, if you're if you're going through myself or Karina, I'm more than happy to sit down with you and just to kind of see what your budget is and then kind of go from there. And I can give you some advice on how much you may be spending on food, depending on whether or not you're eating out or whether, you're going to be cooking at home. If you're going to have a car, I can kind of give you some advice on like gas, what you would be spending on gas or rentals, so it just really depends on you and what your budget is. I will say this, what I love about Mexico is that it's something here for everybody, no matter what your budget is. If your budget is low, um, there's a nice home for you here, and you can still live very comfortably here, if your budget is low, or if it's very high, then if you want to only go to fancy restaurants, then they have that here as well. So whatever you want to do, you can actually do it here and still be comfortable. So just know that, you'll be fine, you'll be okay. And I'm more than happy to do one-on-ones if anybody is really wanting a little bit of help or assistance with their budget, or if you're just wanting to know, for example, how much would it cost for X, Y, and Z, and then also a lot of the homes here in Merida may not come with washer and dryers. So you may want to have somebody to come pick up your laundry for you, do your laundry. It just all depends. But I do believe that you can live here comfortably, and you can definitely make it happen. So that's it.
Maybe we can have an episode talking about that, how to set a budget, how which things you should consider for creating a budget when you're moving to Merida, especially because I mean you're fully immersed as a relocation specialist, because this lady here is also a relocation specialist. If you're considering on moving to Merida, she's going to be the one who's going to helping you even with the schools of your kids. So
Yes.
even things you thought about, she's going to know how to guide you through this transition in your life, which is going to be like super important. So, but yes, in general, I believe that the cost of living, I don't know if I said it correctly, is much cheaper than it would be in most of the cities back in the States or in Canada or in Europe, no?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So if you're coming from the US and you have a job making, let's just say $10 an hour. You This is just me going on the low end as I can. If you're making $10 an hour and you're working 40 hours a week and you're making $400 a week, and you have rent that's, let's just say, $500 a month here in Merida, you can still live very comfortably. I mean, one of your checks almost covers the entire rent. So you can just kind of look at it like that. If you're coming from the States, if you're coming from Canada, you're coming from Europe, just look at it like that. So yeah, even someone coming here off of $10 an hour, you can definitely still come here, have a nice home, and then you can still have money to use leisurely or to save, or however you would like to use it. So just know that there's something here for everyone.
Yes, there is. Another question says that I just relogged in. You may have mentioned this. Is there financing for non-residents? How about trust? Yes, this has been already mentioned by Kiafa. We were talking about financing being like much more expensive than it would be in your hometown, because we are talking about a regular, an average interest rate of around 12%, which is pretty high. So, and you need to be a permanent resident for applying for one of those. So if you want to know more about the possible financing you could access, we can talk about that. And yes, there are options, but they are not the best options.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, just know that if you are looking to finance here, you're not going to get an interest rate of 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, 7. No, it's going to be 12% or higher. So
Exactly.
yeah, so just keep that in mind.
Yes, definitely. And well, I'm going to answer this question later. So
Okay.
we are well, I am currently writing a book, and I haven't talked about this about real estate investments, and I've been asked when it's going to be released. So hopefully it's going to be released before the year ends. So we're
Yeah.
going to talk about that, and it's going to include everything you may need for investing in any of the most important cities in the whole peninsula. So thank you for asking.
Yay, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to your book.
You're going to be the first one in reading it once the revision is ready, because that's taking forever. It's taking even longer than it took me to write it, so it's exhausting.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. But hey, patience, patience. it's gonna help a lot of people. It will help a lot of people because so many people are moving here. People are moving here in droves. So your book will definitely help a lot and give a lot of information to everyone. So thank you for taking the time to write the book for everybody. I'm definitely gonna push it for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, I'm doing it like with a lot of love and trying to pour all what I've learned through the years in that autographed copy. Yeah, hopefully. Well, it was aimed for being available as an ebook, but probably your as an ebook. But oh my god, ebook! But probably we're going to have it like printed. Well, I will let you know as soon as we're like more advanced in the progress. But yeah, thank you for asking, and I hope it's going to help everyone. I mean, everyone who's trying to invest in here.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you. So, what other question do we have here? Oh, we have another question that was asking, and I think this is important to be answered by a non-Mexican person, because I believe that if it's answered by me, probably people is going to think, oh, she's pushing it because she wants to promote her country or whatever. But I think this is going to be a question to be answered by Kiafa. So it says, how do you think the exchange rate pesos dollars will affect the market in the future?
Okay, so how do I think it will affect the market in the future? Hold on, let me kick in my psychic capabilities. Hold on 1 second. Let me see what I'm getting. Let me go inward. So, um, so I'll be completely honest with you. So, land and property is going to be the same no matter where you go. So I don't care if you're purchasing it here in Mexico, if you're purchasing in the States, in Canada, it's going to be the same. No matter what the exchange rate is, the best time to buy property is always going to be now, because it doesn't matter what the exchange rate is. The price of land, the price of property is always going to be going up. So, whether or not you wait, it makes a big difference. So, I don't care if like the USD to peso is 20 to 1, it doesn't matter. The price of the land is going to be higher next year this time than it is today. So, the best time to buy is always going to be now, because it's going to continue to go up. And from the price rate increases that I have seen here in Merida since I've been here, it's really kind of blown my mind because I didn't think that the price of properties were going to be going up so quickly when I moved here, Karina. That's something you didn't tell me about before I came. I
I
didn't
didn't.
realize that the land here was appreciating like that so quickly. I mean, I've seen houses that we have gone to tour together just go up and just go up, since I've been here, and I've only been here like 6 months, going on 7 months. So, and I think it has a lot to do with the increase of expats that are moving here, so there are a lot of expats that are here and a lot of people moving here. So what do? They tell their families, they tell their families begin to do research about where are the best places to move outside of the US. They see, for example, Merida, for example, is among the safest cities in the world. They see the rating when it comes to the quality of life here in Merida, the advantages of living in Mexico, the fact that you can buy land here for much less than in the States. You get so much more in a house, just from buying land here. It's just so many advantages here. So more and more people are coming in droves, which is increasing and driving the prices up rapidly, like very quickly. So no matter what the fluctuation rate is of the US to peso, the best time to buy land is always going to be now, because I can guarantee you that the price is going to be so much higher in a year from now, in 6 months from now, in 3 months from now. So that's my answer to that question.
Thank you. You can also check the price index. There is an institution in Mexico called Sociedad Hipotecaria Federal, which is like the society of lenders, and they have the track of the prices increase. They release the report every 3 months. We usually also release an interpretation of that report, because sometimes it's like a lot of numbers, a lot of information, and it's like, how should I eat this? Because I'm not understanding anything. So we are always sending you via email as well the information translated of the report, so you can track the increases, because people think that the market here in Mexico behaves the same way it behaves in the state, and they're expecting to have a big crash by 2026 because this Fred Harrison predicted it. It doesn't work the same, and we've already talked about that before. So, yeah, if you're still waiting for the prices to crash or for having a better exchange rate, exchange rate, I think you're putting a lot in the risk or in the bet. I don't know how to say it, because it's not going to get any better. And there's like a quote I really hate, but it's very accurate. Like, the best moment for purchasing real estate was 5 years ago, or maybe 20 actually, and the second best moment is now, because it's not going to get any better, and prices are going to keep on increasing constantly, and then you're going to be regretting not having invested when you could have done it. There's a lot of memes happening currently that are like, oh, but I should have invested in real estate when in 97 instead of studying elementary school. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
facts. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, forget elementary school. Give me some land. You know what I'm saying? Give me a house, so that by the time I'm graduating from high school or I turn 25, I got some money, right? But that being said, if you didn't buy a property 20 years ago, you're buying it now. So imagine 20 years from now, how that would affect you. Imagine 3 years from now, how that will affect you. So the best time is always now. And I have always said as well, even when I was doing real estate back in Georgia, I would always tell my leads, at least try to get started as far as the information. Even if you don't think you're ready yet, go ahead and get like schedule a consultation or a call with myself or Karinna so that we can just talk to you about it so you can kind of see what the ins and outs are, what it entails, and you'll know the details and just kind of go from there. So yeah.
Contact us right away.
Yes.
So, and it's almost, I think we have room for like two more questions.
Okay.
What, okay. There's a lot of questions about the legal process for purchasing properties, but I don't think 2 or 5 minutes is going to be enough. So, if you want, maybe let us know if you would like a part two for the frequently asked questions, so we can address all these more on the legal side questions. So you are completely prepared before you are embarking on this journey of purchasing. So we're being asked about time frames. Time frames, it's a good thing to talk about without getting too technical. People usually ask about how long they are going to take from the very first moment when they have their offers accepted and to the moment when they receive the property. So if everything goes in a regular way, without complications, without having to do any, I don't know how to say it, to get regularized any things on the file, whether it's on the seller side, on the buyer side, or on the home side, the regular time would be between 6 and 8 weeks. It's pretty fast, not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. 6 and 8 weeks. And keep in mind that it's very important that we get the documents in time so that we can keep that at 6 to 8 weeks. Um, of course, the quicker we get the documents, the quicker we can get everything done for you. And a lot of other factors are at play when you want to get quicker and you're paying cash, things of that nature. So yeah, but 6 to 8 weeks is the norm.
And okay. Well, they are also frequently asking about if we should hire an attorney for purchasing real estate in Mexico, and my answer would be no. I'm going to tell you this more specifically. Um, Under regular circumstances, an attorney is not highly needed. It's going to be helpful, of course. They are going to do a lot of negotiation on your behalf. They're going to help you with taxes for the establishment of the fideicomiso, uh, but it's not mandatory. You can go without the attorney. I recommend to hire an attorney when it's a complex situation where it requires, I don't know, a special fiscal strategy, or we are saying that the property has certain legal conditions that can become a bit risky maybe for the buyer. Under just special circumstances is when we suggest to hire an attorney, but if not, it's not mandatory. You can perfectly do it without one.
Nice. That's a very good question. Whoever asked that, that's a great question to ask.
Yeah, I mean, if you need an attorney, we can always recommend you some independent attorneys or signatures firms, legal firms, and I mean, we can work together, and we're going to make it happen easier and faster, and making the path smoother for you. But you can be relaxed about that because it's not something mandatory. I mean, you can perfectly go without an attorney. So yeah, I think there's a lot of questions we still need to answer, but we are going to take the whole night here, and especially because we took extra time trying to fix our technical issues. So what do you think if we maybe do a part two sometime about the frequently asked questions?
Yeah, I think so for sure. Yeah, so I think we'll do a part two next week, and we'll finish up the frequently asked questions because we did have quite a few questions that came in before. We can answer those for everybody.
Okay, that's okay. So we don't have to think about the next episode because we already have it solved. So if you're watching the, I don't know how it is called, the retransmission of this episode, just feel free to leave your questions in the comments, or you can always contact us in the email info@housebuy.mx, or via any other social media platform. You can always find us as housebuy.mx. You can find Kiafa in YouTube as arroba Kiafa with double F and K. And Instagram, Quarters by Kiafa.
Yes, quarters by Kiafa, you got it. So let me know if you need anything, and I will be back with you. I try to check my inboxes as much as possible. If you haven't gotten a response from me like within 24 hours, then I say to also just comment below this video or Facebook. For some reason, Instagram, they don't let my messages come through if I'm not friends with people. So it's like sometimes I just don't see the messages because they'll be in a whole different place on Quarters by Kiafa. So if I haven't responded within 24 hours, just comment below this video, or also you can just check out my Facebook because Facebook, for some reason, those are there. So yeah, Quarters by Kiafa or just Kiafa on Facebook, and or just Kiafa on Instagram as well.
And also, we can leave them the link to the calendar for booking an advisory with you. Also, if they're considering.
Yes, yes, we can do that.
Perfect. So, thank you for being here, for watching, for your
Yeah.
questions. Thank you for your support.
Yes,
And
thank you. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks to everybody who is watching the replay. Make sure you don't forget to like this video. We really appreciate the engagement tonight as well, guys. So thank you, Gigi, who is always on here and supporting us. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you so much. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody who is watching. And we will see you guys next week.
yay! Say hello to Jill as well, please, Jason.
Yes, these are some clients that we have right now. We love Jason and we love Jill. So thank you guys so much.
We're waiting for that party.
Yeah. Let's do it. I'm ready to party, Jason. So
Okay, thank you, Key. I wish you a good night. Good night to everyone, and see you next week.
good night.
Besos.
Bye.